Have you read the Quran?
I'm sorry?
Have you read the Quran?
I have not.
Can I give you one?
Sure.
Sure.
Thanks.
What do you believe?
I'm kind of all over the place. Just kind of whatever. Astrology. I'm actually an astrologer.
Okay.
But I am a religious major, so I just
Okay.
kind of like any sort of.
So you believe in God or you don't?
I believe in a source.
Okay.
And not necessarily God in like the way that maybe you're
A
thinking.
cause,
but
you believe in a cause.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we believe that the universe began to exist,
Yeah.
right? And anything that begins to exist has to have a cause.
Right.
And
Yes.
that cause has to be an uncreated cause.
Right.
And that uncreated cause we call as a creator.
Yeah.
Because God by definition is uncreated.
Right.
And God defines himself in this holy book in 4 lines.
Yeah.
He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say he is God, the one and only. He is not 3 in 1. He is not 1 in 3 like the most of the people they believe.
Right.
He is only one. He is absolute and eternal. What does it mean? It means everything that begins to exist is dependent on him and he is independent of everything.
Right.
Lam yalid wa lam yulad. That means he begets not, nor was he begotten.
Right.
He doesn't have any parents, he doesn't have any children. He's
Yeah.
a creator,
Right.
right? Walam yakullahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing whatever like unto him. The moment you can contain, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. The moment you can contain a mental picture of anything, that being cannot be God. Because God is the creator of everything, so he cannot be in something that he created. He's
Right.
outside of that.
Right.
Because the creation is material, it perishes,
Yeah.
it finishes, it comes to an end.
Right.
Right? So God is outside of that. So what God does, he doesn't become his creation to know what is good or what is bad for his creation. What he does, he chooses a man amongst men, whom he communicates on a higher level, whom we call them as messengers and prophets.
Right.
To these messengers and prophets, God gives them the revelation, the guidance
Right.
to guide the humanity.
Okay.
And everything that begins to exist has to come to an end. Right? On that day, judgment day, there will be accountability for the things that you have done.
Right.
Where you've been an obedient servant to that creator, or where you've been an inobedient servant to the creator. The Quran also talks about the creation of the universe in brief. You know, there's a verse in the Quran in Surah Al-Anbiya, one of the chapters of the Quran, verse number 30, where Allah says, Awalam yara allazina kafaru. I will translate that for you.
Okay.
Awalam yara allazina kafaru. You will find it interesting. Awalam yara allazina kafaru anna samawati wal arda kanata ratqan fafataqnahuma wa ja'alna min al-ma'i kulla shay'in hayy afala yu'minun. God says that do not the unbelievers see. Who are the unbelievers? The people who don't believe in the Quran.
Mhm.
God is questioning them. He's asking them, do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together?
Mhm.
We know that the universe was initially one primary nebula. And then there was the secondary separation which gives rise to the sun, the moon, the earth on which we live. So God is saying that do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together and we have made it burst asunder. And we have created every living thing from water. Would you not then believe? It is very recently in science that the science have discovered that about the Big Bang and everything.
Right.
It's very like 150 years, 200 years ago.
Right.
The Quran was revealed 1444 years ago.
Mhm.
God mentions that because he is the creator, he knows how the creation began.
Right.
Right? So I want you to read the Quran.
Okay.
You know,
Sure.
this is a really good pamphlet for you.
Okay.
Islam and Islam.
Sure.
Would you say you're more kind of like a new ager?
Uh,
Closer to new age?
I mean, I guess I don't know that like it has certain connotations that I'm just like, but
But you believe in reincarnation?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm a practicing astrologer and I'm also a religious major in university.
So how do you justify reincarnation? Just a question that I want to know.
To be honest with you, I don't really have like much of an explanation. That all I know is that, as far as like my like astrology practice goes, is that the belief is that everything is karmic. Actually, a lot of it comes from
Hinduism?
yeah, like
Buddhism
very
and all?
Hinduism. Yeah, I mean, astrology is quite an amalgamation of like Mesopotamia,
Right,
the
right,
Egyptians,
right.
Hinduism. So
Right.
there's a lot of belief in like Dharma,
Right.
you know, that sort of thing.
Can I ask you a
Yeah,
question on
sure.
that? Just so you have a bit of a
Sure.
reflection.
Yeah.
So does this reincarnation, it keeps happening or it only happens once?
Continuous, yeah.
So you think it happened with you?
I think so.
So what were you before?
No idea.
So how do you know how can you correct yourself then? Because if you don't remember, what were you before?
Correct yourself, you mean? You said?
Yeah, I mean reincarnation means the cycle of birth, death, birth, death, birth, death.
That's not how I define it. It's just like a continuous, like
It's a cycle of
you're an eternal spirit soul, and you don't really ever end. And there's just multiple lifetimes, but it doesn't mean you were reincarnated because you did something wrong. Everyone just kind of does. Is kind of the belief, at least as far as my practice goes.
So there's
Okay.
no
Yeah.
recompense like for your deeds. Like if you did something bad in this life, whatever you define or whatever the bad and good is, like is there a way to be recompense for it? Because people have done
Accountability.
they continue to
Yeah.
do horrible things. And
I think it's more neutral. There isn't so much of a judgment of a kind of like a doomsday sort of thing where you won't be,
Held accountable.
like, well, no, not about being held accountable. It's just it's more neutral. There isn't like a one authority that's kind of punishing people and rewarding people. It's just kind of
So how do people account for the things that they do?
they just do themselves. That's
I mean,
kind of up to
what
them.
motivates them? What
and
motivates them to do good?
whatever-
Like for
and-
example, Hitler,
Right.
he incinerated 6 million Jews.
Yeah.
So did he like get away with that?
Well,
If there's no accountability,
well, no, not necessarily, but
justice, where is
it's
justice?
it's kind of the natural process of whatever happens in their life is kind of a way that keeps them accountable. But there isn't like one authoritarian figure who's doing a thing. It's a little bit more
because
neutral or
because
whatever.
the basic inclination of the human being tells us that there is a just being who's going to bring justice. If someone have been unjustly wronged, then his basic inclination will tell him that there is a just being who's going to bring justice. For example,
Yeah.
6 million people, just talking about a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Just talking about Hitler, like he wronged 6 million people.
Yeah.
He burned 6 million people alive in a gas chamber.
Yeah.
Innocent people died.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so have those people been wrong? Like, are they like done? Like they've been unjustly done. When are we gonna bring Hitler back to life? There's a reason. There's a verse in the Quran, in Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse number 56. God says, "Say to the unbelievers, we shall cast them into the hellfire as often as their skins are roasted. We
Okay.
shall provide them with the fresh skin so that they shall feel the pain." So for God to bring Hitler back to life is easy for him. He can give life back to Hitler 6 million times, cause him to die 6 million times, and do justice with the people who've been wrong. But if I bring Hitler back to life today, which is impossible, hypothetically, I'll only be able to kill him once, punish him once, and that's it. That will only do justice to one person who has been wronged.
Mm.
So that's the reason the concept of accountability and justice is very important when we believe, and this will only come when we believe in a creator.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
So you reflect on that a little, and then I'm sure you'll come to a conclusion.
All right. Cool.
Right?
Well, thanks.
Yeah, you take care. Thanks for your
Have a
time.
good one.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. See you.
Yeah.